I don't think I would have even opened the store for Wooden for Chip. The thought that he asked, "What are your dreams?" I told him that one day I'd love to have my own business. This Texas couple is happy when they build homes for other people. The most important thing is home. It's an honor to be a part of that. It's always fun. I love it. Yes, Chip Gaines has finally spoken out after years of being quiet, revealing truths that have made everyone speechless. Chip is sweet and works hard, but he has always been the type of man who likes to keep his personal life mostly to himself. But now, out of the blue, he's telling things that no one saw coming. It's possible that you're not good at telling our love story. Listen, our love story isn't too complicated. Chip really liked me. After that, I saw that he had a good heart. I'm going to back her up. Love her and fight for her no matter what. What secret facts is he now ready to share? What we thought we knew about Chip Gaines will change. Join us on this special show as we talk about the shocking facts that Chip Gaines just told everyone. Some shocking truths. A lot of people have always liked Chip Gaines on TV, known for having a lot of energy and ability, for turning any old house into something beautiful. Are you ready to see your project home? We're all set. Let's do it. On Fixer Upper, his laid-back style and kind nature won over a lot of people right away. He is well known, but there was a part of his life that no one knew about. A lot of people were curious about what he was like when no one was watching. He finally opened up about his personal life after years of keeping it quiet. The truth he told everyone shocked them. No one thought he would admit what he did. He kept his personal problems to himself because he is known for always being positive and making jokes. But he has been through hard times that most people wouldn't guess from his smile and charm. It wasn't always easy for him to get where he is now, and his strength has been tried in ways that people who only saw him on TV couldn't see. Lots of people think Chip and Joanna have a great life because they built a successful business together. But his latest confession shows that their story of success is more complicated than it seemed. There were some rough spots. It was built on wins earned through tough personal and professional challenges. Behind the success of his reality show, he's had questions, setbacks, and times when he thought quitting was the only thing that would make him feel better. He's been honest about the fact that his path hasn't always been easy. He kept going though because he had a strong belief in hard work and having a reason to do it. The most interesting thing about his statement is not that he's had problems, but how he overcame them. He talked about times when he had a lot of doubts about himself and did things wrong that almost ended his career. People are even talking about mental health and the stresses of fame because he is so open. It looked like he was always calm and happy on TV, but his statement shows that even the happiest people have problems. His shocking admission shows a whole new side of him and how hard it really is to balance family, work, and personal problems. People are amazed at how strong he is that he faced these problems and talked about them freely. This statement has changed more than just how we see him as a TV star. Everyone loved watching Chip and Joanna Gaines work their magic on rundown houses and make them look like beautiful dream homes. Though I've been through the ups and downs of life like everyone else, that hour changed and inspired me. But there is still one big question: what were the hard times in his childhood that made him the person he is now? The building blocks of resilience. Chip Gaines has always had to deal with a lot of surprising problems. These problems have made him strong and changed the way he sees life. As a child in Colleyville, Texas, he quickly learned what it was like to be the new kid, because his family moved around a lot. He would start to feel at ease, but then he would be in a new school with new people. He learned how to adapt quickly by having to change with the times, but it made him feel like he didn't belong, never really fit in. Moving around a lot made him count on himself, which gave him the independence and strong will he kept as an adult. He felt better when he was playing sports, especially baseball. But school was hard for him. He had a hard time with schoolwork. His mind wandered a lot, which made school hard for him. He felt like he had accomplished something in sports that he didn't get from schoolwork. The fact that he loved sports, though, meant that people had high hopes for him. His dream was to play baseball professionally, and that goal kept him going through each new school year and baseball season. But like a lot of young athletes, he was turned down for teams and hurt, which ended his sports hopes. These failures were hard, but they taught him to keep going, and the power to keep going. Once he got to Baylor University, things in his life changed for the worse. Chip caught the eye of a recruiter while playing softball at a junior college. He was then offered a spot at Baylor University. Pressure to make ends meet became a regular companion. Chip knew he would have to work hard to pay for school and his living expenses because he came from a poor family. Because of the money problem, he has to work multiple jobs and study at the same time, which would have been too much for anyone. He didn't give up, though. Instead, he faced these problems head-on and learned how to manage money, make a budget, and deal with the stress of being short on cash. He wasn't aware at the time, but these problems were changing the way he thought about work and being responsible. During these years, his strong work ethic only got stronger. He worked hard at things that most people would have ignored, which gave him a no-nonsense attitude. In a lot of ways, these small jobs taught him to be humble and to keep going even when things get hard. He knew that to make ends meet, he had to work longer hours than most people. These early lessons in being strong, having self-control, and being humble helped him become the person he is today. He worked hard every day, but he still wasn't sure about his future. He felt like he was meant for something else, but he wasn't sure what it was. He learned more about his strengths and what he could handle with each job and task, but he still didn't have a clear idea of what he wanted to do with his life. But as he became an adult, he realized that the things that these events taught him made him flexible. A strong sense of who he is and a strong work ethic. What did these early problems teach him that would help him deal with the unknown challenges of fame and job success? In the beginning, he did odd jobs to get by and learned the hard way how to be a business. Long before he was famous for making homes look better, he was a young Waco businessman with a dream and a strong work ethic. He didn't have much direction at first. He was sure he wanted to make his own thing. He tried his hand at a lot of different small businesses in the beginning, from a gardening service to a laundry business. They were all risky and didn't always pay off. During college, he and his friends came up with a new business idea. They would charge students a flat rate for laundry by the pound. He talked about this on magnolia.com, putting money together and learning by making mistakes. Many of these projects didn't even get off the ground, and there were times when he wanted to give up. But each setback made him stronger and taught him how to quickly change his plans. Learned a skill that would come in handy later. When he decided to make bigger purchases in real estate, it became one of his biggest problems. He wasn't fully in charge of the financial risk he was taking by depending on an unstable real estate market. Many nights he couldn't sleep, and months that were hard made him wonder if he had taken on too much. He had a lot at stake every time he fixed up a house. He often puts his own money into it with no promise of making money. Sometimes projects had problems that cost a lot of money or took longer than planned, which put a lot of stress on his finances. Each job taught him how to be patient and work quickly. His work took a big turn in 2003 when he joined forces with Joanna, the woman he would later marry and who shared his love of fixing up homes. They put everything they had into their projects together, combining his building skills with her artistic sense. They started a small business called Magnolia and did improvements in the area that got a lot of attention right away. After all this time, Joanna Gaines is going back to the beginning. The DIY tycoon shared a great old picture on Friday. A picture of her and her husband Chip Gaines enjoying the opening of their first Magnolia store in 2003. But getting to this point didn't come without some problems. Building a business from scratch meant long hours, prices they didn't expect, and a lot of stress all the time. When the chance to work on Fixer Upper came up, he was hesitant at first. He was aware that becoming famous on TV would mean more attention and stress for him. Things were even more important now. Getting so famous so quickly made him worry about how it would change their lives and work. Television brought new problems like long shooting schedules that were hard on everyone, differences in creativity, and the need to make every project live up to high standards. He always had to find a way to balance his commitment to the show with the needs of their growing business. As this reality show became more and more famous, he and his family became well known. Because of his fame, more people knew about both his work and his personal life. They had to keep up with the pace and please people across the country while also taking care of the day-to-day tasks of running Magnolia. The pressure was huge, and with each new season, he had to find a way to stay true to himself while also meeting the needs of friends and viewers. Even with these problems, his desire to be an entrepreneur stayed strong. Because he worked hard, his small renovation business grew into a national brand. It now has retail stores, product lines, and even a lifestyle magazine. But it wasn't easy to build this kingdom. It involved taking risks all the time, working long hours, and being able to get back up after failing. He kept his eye on building something important and lasting through all of his career's ups and downs. He saw every task as a chance to learn, because he knew that every mistake taught him something important. What changes did he make to his family as his work grew, that they had to deal with together behind the scenes? How fame changes family life. As his career took off thanks to the success of Fixer Upper and the growth of Magnolia, his family had to deal with a lot of changes and stress. The two people Chip married, Joanna, in 2003 were just normal people with big dreams. They planned to live and run a small business in Waco, Texas, putting homes back together and making room for their growing families. According to reports, Chip and Joanna Gaines had a small, cheap wedding. This was partly because they were broke when they got married and had no money saved up. Things changed though when the show became popular. Their lives changed right away when they became famous. Every project, choice, and moment was watched by people who couldn't get enough. Both of them were under a lot of stress because they worked on a popular TV show and it started to get in the way of their family time. When he thought about how fame might affect their kids, he and his wife made strict rules to keep their kids stable and protect their privacy. They tried hard to make their kids feel like life was normal, even though they were in the public eye. They were put under a lot of pressure because everyone thought they were the perfect pair. After that, millions of people watched every move they made, no matter how big or small. Chip felt a lot of pressure to keep up looks while still being himself. He had a hard time juggling work, marriage, and being a dad. But he stuck to the principles he and his wife had always shared, even though things were hard. They knew family was the most important thing. No matter what, because of their fame, they made a big choice. They quit the show when it was at its best. It wasn't easy to leave the show because it helped them become famous and made them a lot of money. But they knew they had to leave to keep their family safe and spend more time with each other. They didn't want their kids to grow up with the stress and cameras being on all the time. They were ready to give up fame to put their family first by making this choice. He still had to run a growing business company after leaving the show. Magnolia, their company, had grown from a small remodeling business to a huge name with many stores, restaurants, a magazine, and other things. It was great to see things grow, but it also brought more stress and less time at home. It wasn't easy for him to choose between family events and work meetings. He wanted to be there for both his family and his work, but it was hard for him to find a balance. He learned a lot about what was important to him through all of these changes. It dawned on him that staying close to the people he loved was more important than money or fame. He put in a lot of work to keep his family life stable, and new problems kept coming up. How did he deal with unexpected problems as he tried to grow the business and keep his family together? The scary part. In a rare interview, Chip talked about the case his ex-partners were suing him over. The plaintiff said he bought them out in shady ways. Two people who used to own Magnolia Realty with Chip Gaines are suing him. Gaines was sued by John Lewis and Richard Clark, who said he bought them out of their business for cheap 2 days before the hit show Fixer Upper was revealed. In 2013, Chip and his two partners, John L. Lewis and Richard L. Clark, owned Magnolia Realty together. At the same time, Chip's TV show was getting more popular. A small Texas-based real estate business. Chip made them an offer of $2,500 each to buy their business shares. Soon after, the reality show's popularity sent the company's value through the roof. It went from being a small business to a well-known name across the country. When his ex-partners learned how valuable the show really was, they thought he had lied to them and sold it for a lot less than it was worth. In the case they filed in 2017, Lewis and Clark said Chip hadn't been honest about how the show might affect the business. They said he didn't tell them about the deal with HGTV for the show, which made them leave before Magnolia got her big break. He was already under a lot of stress from becoming famous quickly and having his business grow. This case made things even worse. He kept the fight quiet for years because he was focused on building his brand and keeping his family safe from the court chaos. Most recently, he talked about how this case had a big effect on his personal and professional life. He said it was a dark part of his journey and that he had to deal with the public image of Magnolia and Fixer Upper while also being accused by people he used to consider close friends. Being honest about the case shows how stressful it was for him as his company became more well-known. Even with these problems, he kept pushing his business and grew the brand with Joanna while dealing with the court issues. He said that the case made him remember that being successful in business can make you make bad choices and hurt relationships. But it taught him how important honesty and ethics are. He said he felt bad about how things turned out and that the fight made him think about his values and how he deals with people in work. Being true to his beliefs became more important to him than the fame or money his business brought him. Hearing about the painful event, he said that he wants to be known not only as a successful businessman, but also as someone who stuck to their views and learned from their mistakes. As his fame grows, he stays committed to finding a good balance between family and fame. Recently, there have been talks about his church membership, which has sparked interest. How did he deal with these problems that are behind the picture he's worked so hard to create? A faith that is not accepted. Chip recently talked about the beliefs and ideals that have shaped his life and led to public misunderstandings. He had been quiet about them for a while. A few years ago, Chip and Joanna got a lot of attention when it came out that they went to a church with beliefs that some people thought might not be friendly to everyone. People wondered if the Gaines family shared their preacher's views on social issues, which made Chip's friendly public image and the reality of his faith seem at odds with each other. He hadn't replied to these conversations because he was busy with his family, his business, and helping people enjoy home improvements. But as Magnolia became a national name, more people paid attention to his faith, which made him talk about the situation freely. He later said that his religion has been an important part of his life and the work he and his wife do. but he was quick to point out that his faith also tells him to treat everyone with respect and kindness, no matter how they are different. He admitted that people in the same church can have very different views. He also said that his own faith journey has been about love, growth, and compassion for his community. This willingness to be open showed a new side of him, one that was ready to talk about tough topics while still staying true to his beliefs. His words showed that he wanted to bring people together by pushing them to find things they had in common instead of things that set them apart. He said that his religion shapes his values, but he also tries to make everyone feel welcome and appreciated in his personal life and at work. He said that people should know that just because he has certain views doesn't mean he judges or leaves people out. He instead said that the goal of his brand is to make a place where everyone feels appreciated, respected, and welcome. Many people were shocked by what he said recently and wanted to know how he felt about these problems. A lot of people were moved by how honest he was and how brave he was to answer tough questions. People have a better idea of his personal ideals and the culture he worked hard to build thanks to his answers. He told everyone why he's such a well-liked public figure by talking about this tough subject with respect and honesty. Being in the public eye comes with its difficulties, and this makes people wonder about the commitment of his business to caring for the world. How did he manage to get through this? A debate about the earth. He recently talked about a tough problem his business was having, a violation of the environment connected to the safety of lead paint. Magnolia Homes was fined by the Environmental Protection Agency EPA in 2018 for not following lead paint safety rules, as they worked on their homes on the show. Chip and Joanna Gaines have settled a case that said they didn't follow the right steps when they were taking down lead paint during some of their renovations. People who liked the show for its attention to detail and dedication to quality were shocked to learn this. It became a scandal when it was found that Chip's brand did not always follow the EPA's rules on how to handle lead paint. There were a lot of homes made before 1978 that used paints with lead in them. Lead is bad for your health, especially for kids and women who are pregnant, so this mistake made people worry. Many people didn't like Chip and Joanna because they did something that they thought was very bad for keeping people safe. In recent comments, he admitted that there were problems and said that the violations were not meant to happen. He agreed that the company's fast growth made it hard to keep up with changing safety rules and promised to make the changes that were needed. He also said that he and his wife really cared about this problem and saw it as a wake-up call to do things better and make sure that all future projects meet the highest safety standards. He tried to rebuild trust by talking about the issue in public, showing that he was ready to own up to his mistakes and learn from them. In order to make things right, his business agreed to pay a fine and promised to take stricter safety measures, such as giving their team more training. He said this showed him how important it is to be careful, especially when working on old homes that could have hidden risks. He said that since the accident, his company has taken steps to fully follow the EPA's lead paint rules. These steps include regular inspections and thorough teaching on safe ways to do work. This answer gave many of his regular customers peace of mind that the company would continue to care about safety. Chip's response to the EPA scandal showed how committed he is to openness and responsibility. At first, the event made people angry, but his decision to speak out has helped restore some faith in his company's commitment to doing business in a responsible way. He showed he's ready to take on tough problems by admitting the company's mistakes and making clear plans to fix them. People learned a lot from him about being honest and wanting to make things better for everyone. In his mind, this wasn't just about handling a PR problem. It was about sticking to the values that have always been at the heart of his brand's purpose. This experience changed the way he thinks about the duties that come with running a big business and made him realize how important it is to be careful in every part of the job. The couple is still growing their business, but they are putting more effort into making sure that everyone follows the same high standards, from style and quality to safety and health. The EPA fine doesn't bother Chip because he thinks of the problems they've had and sees it as a chance to get better. He became even more sure that to be successful, you need to keep learning, be flexible, and be willing to do the right thing even when it's hard. Although he and Joanna are still working to grow Magnolia, he is still set on leaving a legacy of trust, honesty, and duty to the community, in addition to building beautiful houses. What do you think about the shocking things Chip Gaines said? Do you think this will change how we always see him? Please tell us what you think in the comments. Don't forget to share, like, and follow for more. Also, click on the next video that comes up. It will be fun for you.